Can you take their life then? Does that ever become moral because you took care of them? Does that mean you can take their life?
I think so. You cannot put the racism and speciesism on the same level. I will not do anything to stop that because I don't feel it's the problem. I have to focus myself.
How do you feel about animals, Lauren?
Animals.
Yeah. Do you have any pets, for example?
Yes, I have some cats.
You have some cats. Can you tell me something about them? What are they like?
Can you be more specific about this?
Yeah, like, can you tell me something about their personality?
Okay, I feel like my cat. I have several cats, but one lives in my house, and I feel like she hates me most of the time.
Okay.
Like I can hug her, everything, but she looks at me like I done something.
Okay.
You know
What
what I
about the other cat? Is she different?
The other are more. I'm not very good in English, but they're more happy,
Okay.
even if they are less sociable. Everything revolves around food. I can understand, but there is some kind of emotional attachment between species,
Yeah.
and historically, cats, dogs, and pigs, these kind of animals, social animals, are really attached to human society, and I think this is a beautiful thing.
Oh, I like what you're saying. So, because that's where I was going for, right? Like, when you said that you described two different cats, two different personalities, you said that you have some form of emotional attachment to them. Do you see them as members of your family, or do you see them as objects?
Not objects, not members of family, something in between.
Something in between. But let me ask you this: do you think that behind those eyes there's a somebody?
Very tough question. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't really know.
But how do you see it? How do you see? Do you see that as somebody who has a will to do something or something not? Because the reason why I ask this personality thing is because it seems to me like there is, right? Because how would you otherwise describe the difference in behavior or the difference in personalities?
Most of it is like just instinct, but I don't really know if it's just that or there is something else.
So how do you describe the emotional connection then if you say it's just instinct?
It can be led by instinct.
Okay.
Like even us humans have some remains of our ancestors' instinct.
So everything they do is instinct, or do you see them playing? Do you see them having some will or something?
Even fun can be instinctive.
Okay.
So it's part of them, of
Okay.
their instinct.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Now let me ask you: do you think this applies to only your pets, or do you think it applies to all the pets? Like the fact that they have emotions, the fact that they want to do certain things. Do you think that applies only to your pets or to all
No,
the
to
animals?
every animal.
Yeah. Okay. So how about the animals that we use for farming, for clothing, for entertainment,
Okay.
for food? Do you think do you think those animals are worthy of moral consideration?
I personally eat meat and everything and animal derivatives because I'm used to since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And nobody ever told me you shouldn't eat those kind. I don't think it's really.
But what do you think?
I
Should
don't-
you eat cats?
No, I don't think eating animals is morally right.
Okay.
But I'm so used to it that I could never stop.
Why is it morally wrong to eat animals?
Because human society in 2025 could live only from what we farm, like crops.
You seem to be. Yeah. Okay.
We could do that.
Yeah.
It's just about culture and traditions. Like from where I come, pork is fundamental for our society.
But do you think that these cultures and traditions really justify the things that animals go through?
No,
the
no, they don't.
exploitations?
But we are humans. We do that all the time.
Yeah, but we do that. We are humans. We do that all the time. The reality is, we are humans. We do that all the time. Most of the times, we do this kind of stuff when we're either unaware, we don't have alternatives, or there's always some form of complicated exploitation behind it, right? Like you buy a phone, down the line, sure, there will be some form of exploitation
Yes,
happening.
of course.
And it's difficult for you to conceive where to buy the phone that doesn't have exploitation. Most of them will have some form of it. But with this one, as you mentioned it, it's pretty easy, because if you would choose to go plant-based, you would never exploit animals again. You would never put animals in those situations. And you don't seem to say that traditions or culture are a good enough moral justifier for this. So then your values are in line, but your actions say otherwise.
Yes, I think so. Allora, some friends of mine, they live in farms which produce meat and milk and cheese from the animals they farm in an ethical way. So
How
they
is it ethical to farm animals? Is it ethical to
it
farm
could be
humans?
with the right conditions.
Could it be ethical to farm humans?
Not humans, but
So why is it? Why could it? Why? What's the difference between humans and animals that say there can be ethical farming of animals, but not ethical farming of humans?
because if I take care of an animal in an ethical way, such as maybe a cow, I
Can you take their life then? Does that ever become moral because you took care of them? Does that mean you can take their life?
think so.
Why? And why does that not apply to humans?
Because we are different.
What's that difference?
Maybe a cow would live less if it's not in a farm. So you make them live more.
I mean,
more.
so would a child, right? If you don't take care of a child, you could also live less, because that's why children need care, right?
But like,
Would that morally justify you taking the life of a child because you took care of them?
no, I think it's different with animals.
What is the difference?
Like, I don't know, but I think it's okay to farm cows, sheep.
Why?
Goats. In nature, they wouldn't have a very, very different life. It's the same in a field which is
Same could
inside
be
a
said
farm.
about a human being, right?
No. We need more space. We need more stimuli.
What if there's an intellectually challenged human being who doesn't need more stimuli, who has the cognitive abilities of an animal?
Would
it be okay to use them to farm them?
Cooperate with other members of the same species, and not between species.
They
It's like-
cooperate in between species also. There's plenty of evidence of animals befriending other animals.
But in general, maybe a cat would never grow a little dog.
Yeah, but I think the reason why cats and dogs don't really get along perfectly is because animals, they don't use communication like we do. They use a lot of body language, and I think the body language between cats and dogs is different. But if
Okay.
you were to discuss the relationship between a cat and a lion, let's say, who probably have similar body languages, do you think that they cannot be friends, or they could not
No, they could,
look
but-
after the same interests?
I think we are going outside our.
I mean, I'm just want to understand what is that difference between an individual. Like, if you could choose to exploit an individual, you don't know their species. Why would you assume that it's okay as long as they're not your species?
Like exploiting human labor is different from, let's say, milking a cow.
Well, a cow, in order to be milked, what has to happen?
What?
Well, in order for a cow to be milked, what has to be has to happen?
Then the cow needs to be pregnant.
So, do you think do you think farmers forcefully impregnate them, or they decide, or
No,
cows?
they forcefully do that. But the life
So,
of a cow.
doing that to a human being, would that be okay?
Okay, I think it's different. Humans and
Wait,
cows.
raping a cow versus raping a human being. What is the difference? I think there's still a victim involved.
Okay, it's a victim, if we want to say so.
They
but
would still feel it.
it's less of a crime.
Well, legally, but morally,
Morally, I still think it's less morally wrong.
because
It's
they're
still
your
wrong.
species, or why?
Because it's my species and because humans are different.
What are you? What's the difference? I keep coming back to that.
I don't really know. I would say
So if you don't know, maybe there isn't a difference.
I don't think so. If I don't know something, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No, but you can't seem to be able to name that difference. It's not like I'm asking you what's the difference between a proton and an electron, or what's
Okay, okay.
I'm not trying to
a
ask you about.
biologist. I'm
No,
not,
but I'm trying to say that I'm not trying to ask you about questions that require extra knowledge. I'm just trying to understand what your reasoning is, because if you don't know what the difference is, if you think there might not be any difference, or even if you think there might be a difference but you don't know what that is, don't you think you have the responsibility to find out what that difference is? Because otherwise you're saying that your values say it's okay to exploit one but not the other. You know, racists say the same thing for individuals who are part of their same group. Racists say these people are white, Don't
Okay.
exploit them. Don't do anything to them. These people are black. They're not part of my group. It's okay. We take care of the ones that are in our group. When we discriminate based on race, it's wrong. When we discriminate based on species, it's just as wrong. There's still characteristics that nobody chose to be born. Do you think a cow chose to be born a cow?
I don't know, but you cannot put the racism and speciesism on the same level.
It is a form of
it's not-
discrimination.
it's not on the same level.
Why?
Because humans have a more elaborated brain.
So what if a human being was born with a less elaborate brain? Again, cognitively impaired.
It's not the norm.
So what? So again, that human being, would it be morally justified to exploit them? According to your own logic, you can exploit an individual if they have a certain complexity to their brain. We find a human being who has that complexity, and according to your morals, it's okay to exploit them because that's the logic that you have
No,
for
we
your
don't
morals.
do that because we feel attached to humans in a way we don't feel for animals.
But okay, so then you talk about the value that you place on them. But let me ask you, do you think that that matters? Because I have zero value to you, just like you have zero value to me.
No,
Would that
no.
morally justify for me to kill you because you have zero value to me?
No, I know you're a human and this is a starting value. If you were a cow, I would not kill you on the spot.
This is again
anyway.
just a convenience because they're your species. A white person could say the same thing. I know you're a white male, therefore I would not do anything to you. You value to me. If you had a different skin color, you might not have the same value. Because skin color is just something that comes from your DNA. You're born with it.
Still, I don't think it's on the same level.
Species. Well, it is. It's just a random categorization, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's random.
But you can't seem to find any logic behind it.
I'm not really prepared on these things, but
I'm not. It's not about being prepared because it's not a me versus you argument
Okay,
over here,
okay.
right? I'm sorry if it comes up that way. The reason why I pose these questions is because I want you to think about them. It's not that I could pose these questions so that they become a gotcha, so that you have to respond back to them, right? I just pose this question so that you think about them. Because do you really think there is a difference? Because we still discriminate on them. Like if you were in the shoes, did you choose to be born human?
no,
No, but were you to be born a different species, you might have suffered a different fate, right? If you were born a cow, you would be already dead because you're male. The male cows are killed. And the same for your cat. Like, let me ask you this for your cats. You don't need cats, right? What's the difference between a cat and a cow then? If you don't want to compare humans, compare cats to cows.
it's history.
It's just
because
history, but history could also-
historically, the difference is set by history, human history.
But history just means that we've been doing it this way for a long time. Do you think
Yes.
that just because we've been doing something for a long time, it makes it right?
No, I agree with you with the fact it's not right
Yeah,
because of logic, morals.
yeah.
But I think it's not that bad that we stop eating meat tomorrow.
Well, it's not that bad because you're not in that position. But do you
Yes.
think that to that one animal who gets put in a line to have their throat cut, to that animal who gets raped and then has their baby stolen from them, to that animal that has their babies killed for them,
Yes,
for that, do you think it's for them? It's not
mass
urgent
killing,
or bad?
Like industrial way of getting meat, like intensive farms. Those are really crazy.
But what I
examples.
described isn't even only in industrial. It happens in absolutely 100% of animal agriculture. Breeding them only to be killed is something it's the start of animal agriculture. Raping them is the start of animal agriculture. Killing animals is the start of animal agriculture.
I have taken care of cows and goats in the mountains, in the farm I told you
Yeah.
earlier, and I didn't feel like they were being exploited. They were living their lives.
How many males were there in that farm?
None.
None. So what happened to the males then?
They must have been killed.
Hey,
before.
there you go. So is that not bad?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. I believe it's bad. I believe like you are male, right? Like imagine somebody killing you because you're born male. Is that not already a form of discrimination? Let alone species. Like there's just like, and regardless of this form of discrimination, because that's not why they do it, right? They do it for profit. They do it for money. They do it for their own benefit. They literally treat animals like objects. And you may say it's not so bad in those situations, But in all other situations, and there's plenty of them, they are treated like objects. They are, like the minute any of those animals on that farm, the minute they no longer bring profit or money, they get killed.
But think economically. I know it's wrong, but every country in in Europe, in the world, has
Yeah.
come si dice domanda? Uh, domanda.
Demand.
Demand
Yeah.
for meat.
Yeah.
Everybody wants meat. If you
Yeah.
go to the store, you have to find meat because then the store sucks.
Yeah.
So there is an economical problem added to the moral problem. I know it's wrong, but I cannot imagine a world with not meat.
Just like if you were born 200 years ago, you probably couldn't imagine a world without slavery, right? Slaves were doing almost everything for them. To imagine a world where people would have to be paid to do what slaves do would have been unimaginable back then.
Yes,
But yet
yes,
we
yes,
had,
yes.
yet we did it because we realized it's wrong to base our society on slavery, to base our society on this, and I think we're in the same place right now, where we base our society on something that you alone say it's immoral. But regardless of what society chooses to do and what individuals choose to do, you gotta ask yourself what you want to do, because if you think it's wrong to do so, then why participate in it?
I think in the future maybe animal farming will stop. If us humans will still
Yeah.
be here, I don't think we will be here on Earth for
That's a
so
different
long.
thing. That's a different thing.
But
Okay.
if everything goes well, I can imagine animal farming will stop.
Yeah.
I will not do anything to stop that because I don't feel it's the problem. I have to focus myself right
But you
now.
don't have to focus it, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like you make choices for yourself, right? When you eat, when you buy products, you make
Exactly.
the choices yourself.
Exactly.
Nobody's forcing you.
But-
So why not choose differently? Because you can occupy your time thinking about all the other stuff, but why not, when you're making these choices, choose differently? In fact, you would have more mental space and available if you were to choose differently, because you wouldn't have to think, what am I doing? Is because every time you buy an animal product, you may have to think that what you're doing is contributing, is doing something wrong that you consider wrong, is exploiting and killing an innocent being, kind of like your cats, kind of like yourself.
I agree. Yet I still agree, but I don't think it's that wrong to think of it. Maybe it's for my education, but when I buy meat, I cannot imagine the animal.
I think you see it as wrong, but I think because you don't know exactly, or you don't see have you seen what animals go through, by the way?
I've kind of seen it, but
Do you want to see it? As I have footage on me.
no.
No.
Like my friends in Brazil, when they have to eat meat, machete,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 shots, and it's that.
It's not nice, is it?
It's a tradition. It's not a nice tradition, but it's what they have.
Yeah, but like all of these traditions and things that we've built along the way in our humanity, it doesn't mean we should continue doing them. I mean, the tradition of, as you said, like that animal being killed, I don't think the tradition is about killing the animal, but rather perhaps meeting afterwards and eating together, right? You can still maintain that. You can still maintain the core of the tradition, the beauty of it,
Yes, I agree.
without
I agree.
having to exploit and kill of these animals. And I understand you say that it's not that important to you, but I think that I think it's not that important because you probably don't even realize how shitty it is. I think if you were to put yourself in their shoes for a moment and actually realize what they go through, it is extremely shitty. And maybe you don't do that often enough, but maybe it's a start for you, and you should start doing this more often. I don't know.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah, because like I personally, I think I kind of was like where you're at some point, but I don't know. I personally enjoy speaking about morals. I enjoy questioning my values and understanding myself and my values and why things are the way they are. So I like to question things. I like to understand things, and that's what got me to be vegan, because I questioned, why is it that it's okay to kill one animal but the other one not? Why is it okay to kill a cow but not a cat, according to my own values? And it's fucked up to kill both. That's the reality. Why is it okay to exploit one but not the other? It's wrong for both. And then the more you realize, the deeper you think, you realize we are just animals. We all humans are the same. We only place different values on them because we created a society, and our values are kind of have a baseline now with what the values of society are. But the reality is, at the core of it, we're just animals, and we deserve just as much as animals do, as all the others do. We all deserve to not be exploited.
Like when I think about becoming a vegan or vegetarian,
Yeah.
I think like my mother made me a fantastic dish with meat.
Yeah.
Why would I say, mother, don't do that?
Well, if your mother made a fantastic dish with cat, would you eat that?
No, it's not the example I wanna bring.
No, but like
I often eat
But the
at
reason
my
why-
friend's home when they cook you something. You cannot say I don't like this because it's full of meat.
But it's not about you don't like this, right? Like imagine if your friends, if you were to be Muslims and your friends were to cook pork. That would be
Okay,
disrespectful
okay,
to
I
you and
understand.
your values, right?
I
If your
understand.
values say that it's wrong to exploit animals and your friends say, well, I cooked this for you, or your mother says, well, I cooked this for you, then they're not respecting your own values. But you need to stick up to your own values also, because I don't think your values should be contingent on what people think of your values, because then you will always just be the person who you are according to the group you're in. If your group is a group of racists, would that mean your values change to a group of racists? If your values are a group of people who have different values, does that mean you'll have different values?
I don't know, because the two place the two. I've
You're doing
spoken
great,
too
by the
much
way.
English.
You're doing great with the English.
Like
it's great.
there are two levels of morals.
Yeah.
Like the level we put racism here is here, and
Because everybody says that it's wrong.
no,
the
because
only- the
they're
only-
people.
The only reason why racism is wrong is because you've been taught from an early age that racism is wrong, and because
No,
society
my parents
is,
are racist actually.
but society says that it's
my
wrong.
family is really
Oh,
racist.
sorry for that then. No, but like I think the only reason why racism is wrong is because everybody agrees that racism is wrong. It's like this whole thing. Yes, sure, there still are racists in the world, but everybody agrees that racism is wrong because we can easily identify with the other human being and says, hey, it's kind of wrong to be in that position. But it should be wrong. Any other form of discrimination should be wrong. Sexism should still be wrong. I would argue it's a little bit more difficult for you to put yourself in the shoes of a woman rather
Yes,
than the
yes.
shoes of a person with a different skin color. But that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't consider that worldview from their perspective. So in that sense, I'm saying, okay, well, maybe it's a little bit even more difficult to put yourself in the shoes of a species, in a different species, but you should still consider their view. And by the way, when I mean put yourself in their shoes, I don't necessarily mean what would it be like to be a cow, right?
Yes.
Because it's impossible for us to realize that. But what would it be like to be in that situation where there's somebody who has power over you, who they take care, who brings you to life, they say they take care of you, and at some point they want to kill you, and you don't understand why. You don't understand what's happening. You just understand that they want to kill you, they want to exploit you, they want to use you. You see what I mean? Like that's
Yes.
the situation where you have to put yourself in. Is that really a situation where you would think it's fair towards them?
No. I have to reflect. No,
I understand you have to fail. Can I give you some resources to help you out with this?
it's articles online.
You also have articles, but it's mostly just a video.
Okay.
So if you scan this QR code, you get the most important speech you'll ever hear or Dominion.
Okay.
I urge you to watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. It will help you with what it's kind of like the same conversation with Hab, but it goes deeper into dairy.
this
and
your
eggs.
channel?
Yeah, this is my channel, and you
Okay.
also have
Oh,
my
very
channel.
nice.
Yeah, and I urge you to reflect and look more into it, and don't take too much time, because when you buy animal products, animals get exploited for it, get slaughtered. And how old are you, by the way?
I'm 18.
18. Wow, you're very young. I'm 37, and my biggest regret in life is not going vegan earlier, and it's only that when that click happens in your brain and you realize how fucked up it is what we do to them, then you realize, holy shit, I should have done this earlier. I should have looked into it earlier. Don't
So
regret. Don't
I
end
have a vegetarian friend.
Yeah.
I will talk to her.
Okay, but vegetarians, they're
They're-
still in the same bucket.
They are kind
Because
of
they
different.
still exploit
Okay,
animals,
okay,
okay?
okay.
Like vegan, it's literally about the animals. It's not a diet. It's literally a moral
Okay,
position
okay.
where we
Yes.
respect animals. You see what I mean?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lorenzo was it, right?
I don't remember your
Chip,
name.
that's okay.
Chip. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chip.
Promise me you'll watch one of those videos?
I will watch this.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Okay. Is this okay?
Well, yeah. Either you just gotta scan this QR code, the most important speech you'll ever hear. You'll enjoy
Okay.
it, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Ciao, guys. Bye.